it's like you yourself could be the superhero.
Canada. That's
It's,
anyway.
it's
It is.
official.
Yeah, they're magical creatures. I think they were led back in the day. They were founded by a guy named Tim Horton, and I
One of
believe
the
he
founding
traveled
fathers up here.
from the east to the west until he found the perfect cocoa bean and also donut hole recipe.
That's
It's an
He's
right.
amazing
also French, Ajmal.
Tim Horton. That's right. I love it.
You got to say his name right, bro.
That's right. Tim
Oh, man.
Horton.
Oh my gosh, this is great. Honestly, this is wonderful. I'm speaking with Ajmal Zaheer Ahmad and Abdallah Jasim, the team behind Crestar and the Night Stallion. Guys, thank you so much. I mean, this has been great chatting already, but it's wonderful to have you on here. Appreciate it. This is gonna be fun.
Yes, we're very excited, and also thank you for having us on. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, honestly, I've only seen the trailers so far. Crestar is coming. But how did it start? How did it start?
Well, wow, that's a big question. It started a long time ago. We created a company about 15 years ago called Exos Pictures. Myself and Abdullah and our other partner Najm Syed. We are in a very, I guess, privileged position, lucky position, to be able to sort of, I guess, create what we want. I don't know how we've actually been able to get into the situation where we don't really have to work for anybody, but we get to make the things that we want to make. And so during the pandemic, we had a few ideas for films that we wanted to make overseas. And the pandemic sort of put a kibosh on all that, as you know. And so our partner, one day he looked at me, he goes, "Listen, we should really make something. If we have to, let's do it in Michigan. Let's do it in the States." And we were kicking around this idea for a superhero idea that was sort of like superhero meets Seinfeld. It would basically be like a SNL type TV show where it's about the downtime between when the characters are actually doing heroic. So you don't see them actually saving people. You actually see them back in their little hideout when they're having coffee or playing video games. We thought that'd be really interesting. What does Batman and Superman do in the Justice League when they're not out fighting crime? And so Abdullah and I were sort of developing that concept, and it just grew. And when we came to this final idea of what it could be, which is sort of the same idea of this comedy with a heart of some culture, but at the same time adding in sort of epic good and evil battles, our partner literally just said, "Do it." And we're like, "Okay, we can develop this over a period." He's like, "No, no, let's do it now." And we're like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Just shoot it in October." And this was like we're talking like August or something. He says, "Yeah, just shoot it. Just do it." So literally, no joke, no joke. So me and Abdullah sat down in our basement, in the basement of this house I'm in right now, and just came up with everything, the script, the characters, the ideas, the concepts, and built the whole world. And then went out and shot this, what you saw, those trailers, and then built sort of a universe around that. So Abdullah, did I miss anything there?
Yeah, no, I think that was. I mean, honestly, it was we really, the us being in the basement, we had a nice little hookah, we had some snacks, and we would just go back and forth on, we really wanted to make the heroes exactly what we were talking about in the Back to the Future. We wanted to make the heroes unique and have them stand out, so that if for whatever reason you want to do your own story on each character, they're savvy enough. Then also the villains. The villains that we have are villains that we put more time into the villains than the actual heroes. So every character in our story, there's passion behind each character. There's meaning behind each character. So we really took it to heart and just Ajmal, you gotta give them the logline.
Yeah, it's very simple. We've been superhero fans. It's actually interesting. We were talking about what we were talking about earlier is that Abdullah probably has seen every single modern movie since like the year 2000 up till now. And I grew up in every movie from 1977 till at least, 2000. And we've seen everything. I mean, I grew up with the original Spider-Man and of course Christopher Reeve's Superman and Michael Keaton's Batman. And this guy loves Ben Affleck's Superman and Christian Bale's Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman, sorry. And so we were like, superheroes is something that's been done a lot. How can we make something a little bit more unique and a little bit funnier, a little bit more sincere? And the log line is very simple. It's imagine you can leap tall buildings in a single bound like Superman, fly through the air and save hundreds of people every day. But you still have to be home by 7 o'clock every night because you still live with your Arab mom and she will beat the shit out of you if you're late for dinner again. And we were like, wow, that is kind of funny. That's really, really funny because it's like making a movie about Peter Parker as opposed to just Spider-Man, right? Where Peter Parker and Aunt May are just sort of kind of like side stories. This is a little bit different. This is incorporating the superheroes and their secret identities, or their real identities, as a major part of the story. And rather than sidelining Uncle Ben or Aunt May or Clark Kent's mom, the family really becomes a big part of the story. The Actually, our heroine in the movie is actually a mom. And so that tells you where we're going. And it's not cheesy. It's not hokey at all. It's very real. And we thought it would be an interesting way to tell a different side of a superhero story in a very sincere way from what we knew growing up. And there's a lot of humor. There's a lot of humor when you grow up. We call them brown families, but there's a lot of humor in these type of families growing up in Canada and in America, from how people get married and how they get set up and how they eat dinner, how they hit their kids sometimes, God forbid. All of this stuff we have popped into this story, but then also wrapped it up in what we hope, what we believe, and actually what we poured our heart and soul into is a really amazing story of good and evil, epic adventure, amazing characters, but most of all, characters that you want to live in this world with because they're brothers and you really feel it. So, and that kind of came out of our real life relationship with myself and Abdullah and our other partner as well, and the rest of our team, to be honest with you.
I have to admit, like, I mean, having just seen the trailers, they're hilarious. From the, going over for dinner when you don't really want to, saving a woman on the streets, who turns the story around very quickly, to put it mildly. It's very funny. Um, but you two I mean, your whole team is working with a pretty heavy hitter with I think, is it Darick Robertson? Am I saying his name right? I know it's
Oh
D.
yeah.
Yep.
Darick Robertson, co-creator of The Boys. So how did that relationship begin, and how has that helped flesh out the idea and the story?
How did we start working with the great man Darick Robertson? God only knows, but I'll tell you, is a hilarious story. We were on the phone with him. He was going to do a cover for the comic books. We're talking about that, and we just started talking about, hey, he really loved the idea. He saw the trailers, he loved the idea, and we were like, hey, Derek, if you ever want to, work on it, hey, we think this project is perfect. He's like, yeah, no, this is what I do. This is down my alley. And we just left it at that. And then a couple weeks later, it came up again. He was like, "Hey, so are we doing something?" And we're like, "Hey, I think we really are supposed to be working together. He really wants." So we actually started working together. It was that easy and that happenstance. And I'll tell you, he is an extremely, extremely talented, not just artist, but he's a very, very gifted and talented writer. And I think he took our second graphic novel, Devil's Night, to the next level. And on top of just being a very talented guy, he's a really, really kind-hearted, good man. And he fit the team really well. We all
Yeah.
became very good friends.
No,
Great
and
guy.
he understood every, like, we just had a quick rundown of, hey, this is what we're thinking the story is, and he instantly understood everything that we were going for and just added so much more to what we were doing already. So it was really just an amazing teamwork, effort from all of us. It was great. It was great.
I mean, that's so wild. Okay, you mentioned the graphic novels. There are two graphic novels now. If I are they're already out. Um,
Yes.
what?
Technically, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Go. I wanted to know more.
Yeah, we released three individual comic books first, and those are sold out now worldwide. You can't even get them anymore. We actually had an amazing comic book artist do the first cover. His name is Travis Charest, and we had Marvel and DC artists do some amazing work for the three books. So those are sold out. Then we compiled those three into a new graphic novel called The Legend Begins. Crestar and the Night Stallion Legend Begins. And as soon as we did that, we also created the new graphic novel called Devil's Night, Crestor and the Night Stallion Devil's Night, with Darick Robertson writing with us. And so now those books are actually published, and we're about to start selling them to the public very soon. So there'll be some announcements. Hopefully, we'll come back on your show and talk to you about that as well. But that's coming up very soon. And we also spent the last many months translating them into Arabic as well, because we think there's a market for these overseas, across the world, hopefully. Let's see what happens. But yeah, so the new graphic novels are just completed and they will be out. I think you'll be able to get them on Amazon pretty soon, right, Abdullah?
Yeah, I would say mid-February, end of February should be the date when we have them on Amazon and ready to go publicly.
But we'll get you advanced copies maybe in
Oh
the next couple
yes,
weeks.
and we'd
Okay.
love your feedback on it. It really is the story that we want to make, hopefully into a TV show or a miniseries.
Well, that was what my I was going to ask here is the plan for do we have a plan moving forward? Because I mean, just seeing the
Yep.
trailers was great. Like, are we moving towards a straight up film? Is that where it's heading?
So a lot of really big things are happening as we speak, actually. We are talking to a few individuals and companies. We've had a lot of interest on the project so far, and there is discussion about turning it into a like a live action series. So we're talking about that right now and developing it. So if everything goes well, we hope in the next 3 to 6 months we'll have some really good news about that. We're also developing the third graphic novel at the same time. But the show is already in a what I would call it. It's already designed.
Yeah.
We've got the groundwork ready to go for the show. So cross fingers, you should be hearing some very good news within probably the first half of this year.
And
We
one
hope.
thing that I'd like to mention is, when we were talking about how we developed the idea in the basement. Ajmal is a director, producer, designer, writer. He does a bunch of things. Very talented. And the coolest part about it was when we were in the basement, he was like, "Okay, so what do you want your hero to look like?" And I was like, "Oh, this is an interesting question." Every child's dream is like, "Hey, what do you want your hero to look like?" So I was like, you know what? My two favorite characters are Gladiator and Wolverine. And he literally sat down right in front of me with his pen and drew out the Night Stallion, costume.
Huh.
And you see the colors, the design, it was all drawn out. And we have all the artwork for all the designs, whether it's the fire breather, the Crestar outfit himself or costume. Everything is designed and it's in our a little Bible that we have. And when he says that, a lot of the show is already designed, you know, pre-production is pretty much done when it comes to the designs. We have everything ready to go. So the costumes actually were handmade in Italy, the ones you see in the trailer. So everything that you've seen, we designed in-house, and it's all ready to go basically. So it's something that I don't think has been done before, and we want to make sure that we have our hands in every design when it comes to this show.
That's funny that you say
And
that because I could see that in the mask. I hadn't drawn that connection, but there's definitely some Maximus in the mask,
Hmm.
especially. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was he literally just made it on the spot. I was like, Gladiator and Wolverine. Let's make it happen. And it happened. So it's really amazing.
so does he know, do you know that Abdullah is actually, he plays the Night Stallion? You know
Yeah.
that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
a lot of this, bringing it back to why we wanted to make sure that the characters were very much attuned to us, is that a lot of the story, a lot of the background story from the character of Ali and his family, and his marriage proposals, and his mom getting mad at him, a lot of that is actually pulled right from Abdullah's real life. So there are so many stories that this guy has told me about his life in Dearborn. Dearborn is like an amazing place. It really is. It's called Dearborn, Michigan, and it is just a conglomeration of people from all over the world. And it's like living it's like another community, another life in the middle of Michigan. So when he told me all these crazy stories, I'm like, my God, this is amazing. So really, all of the stuff that you find in the story that's funny, heartfelt, community or family related, a lot of that we pulled right from his real life. So we said, okay, we got to do that with everything. So even it goes through into the characters and their likes and their dislikes. Crestar, obviously, I play Crestar, but he loves collectibles just like you do, because I like collectibles in real life. So we wanted to make sure that we bring our real lives into the comic book and into the story to make it as authentic as possible. I hope people like it. I really do. But at the end of the day, I can tell you this: it's really, really sincere. It's what we love. It's who we are, and it's the things that entertain us that we try to incorporate into this idea.
Honestly, I think just listening to you say that, I think that's why it'll work. The trailer itself, they felt almost like relatable people. Like, a lot of times we think about superhero films, they are sometimes they're relatable, sometimes they're the other, right? Like they're someone else, like wealthy billionaires or aliens from other planet, if you will. Uh,
Yeah.
these just feel like people you know. Um,
Well, brother, you
You
nailed it.
nailed it.
You nailed it. I think at the beginning, and I think this is the connection that we're trying to make with this story. First of all, it's a genre bending and genre blending idea. You can go from action adventure to horror to sci-fi to thriller, to comedy and love story, all in the same idea. It's gonna blend all these, hopefully seamlessly. It's gonna blend all these ideas together. But we use the template of we're leaning more towards the Ghostbuster ideal than the Marvel ideal, or what I'd say the DC Snyderverse ideal. This is you. Like, you could be a superhero in this world. So you don't have to have a chiseled body. God, definitely I do not. And you don't have to have superhuman abilities. You can, but you don't have to. It's about the people. It's about, can an average Joe become somebody that can make the world a better place? And we try to incorporate that into this idea as much as possible. So that's why the female character is not this 5'5" model looking character that you have in every superhero movie. This is actually a mom, and I'm not saying she's putting on a cape, but she's doing superheroic things every day, keeping the family together, taking care of her son, just living and giving good advice. So we're trying to make it as real as possible. And yes, you nailed it. It's like you yourself could be the superhero.
well, honestly, I'm looking forward to hearing the news of where we go. Series would just be a blast, and genuinely, to you both, I would love to take a look at the graphic novels as well, and let's chat again. I'd
Definitely.
love to do that. That'd be so much fun.
If you could send me your address, and I'll have our warehouse send you
Sure.
some books as soon as possible. And we'd love to get back on and just hear what your thoughts are on the graphic novel, because the graphic novels really tells the story. The trailer is more of just like you get a little taste, but it's cool to watch the trailers, hear the voices, and then read them through the graphic novel. it really does give you a better understanding of the whole entire concept. So I'm
I would
excited.
love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I
We're
will.
going to get those for you as well. And we just had some great news drop on Variety about was that 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
We just brought an amazingly talented director and producer from Saudi Arabia and America. His name is Hamza Jamjoom. We brought him on board as well. So there's a lot of movement happening on the front of the series. We can't talk about a lot of it right now, but you're going to be hearing a lot very soon about the graphic novels, and then cross fingers about the series. And when we do our next Tim Hortons Popeyes run, we're just going to drop the company with you.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Thank you
Honestly,
so much.
thank you both so much for the chance to chat. I really do appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to seeing what's next. Thanks so much.
Let's do it again real soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.